Hello everybody, how are we all doing today? The sun is shining here in the UK, which is lovely to see. Today I'm going to be doing a deep dive into the whereabouts of Nichol Kessinger on the night of the Chris Watts murders. And the big question here is, was she involved? Okay, so before we get into this video, if you haven't already subscribed, then please subscribe, press the like button and the bell for the notification if you like my videos and you'll be notified of the next one. And as always, thank you for your support. Right, let's get into it. Red flags written all over this woman. If I had a red flag here, I'd be waving it. Anyway, on the day of the Chris Watts confession to the unaliving of Shanann Watts, Nichol Kessinger decides to come forward to investigators to confess to their illicit affair they had been having. She said to investigators that she herself had been lied to, with Chris saying he had told her the marriage to Shanann was formally over. That's why she deleted all messages and communication between them. Who is Nichol Kessinger, apart from the obvious? Nichol Kessinger was hired as a contract employee at Anadarko Petroleum in Platteville, Colorado, where she works in safety, also a fire safety officer. Now guys, bear this in mind, you're going to need to remember this, because it's a key to a theory I have here. She met Chris Watts in the office where they both worked. He would spend most of his time out at oil wells in the field. Let me get this closer. The two of them allegedly met in either May or June and had their first date shortly after. According to Kevin Kobach, this is the investigator, absolutely useless. In his interviews with her, he notes that to this day, Nichol didn't see any red flags with the way he spoke about his family. He wrote, Kessinger also remembered Chris telling her he was separated. Kessinger also said to police she found him cute and he wasn't wearing a wedding ring. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when we're working, and especially the kind of job he were doing, it doesn't surprise me that he wasn't wearing a wedding ring. I mean, some people take it off because they don't want it to get lost, damaged, or whatever. So what made you think just because he wasn't wearing a ring, he wasn't married? Anyway, the two of them apparently bonded over the love of fitness, healthy eating and cards. Oh, how nice. She told Kobach this. Kessinger also told investigators that she visited the Watts house twice. Both of these visits were brief. I don't think so. She said, and I quote, she did not feel comfortable there and that is someone else's life and existence. What a strange set of words to use. Somebody else's existence and life. So she did not want to be there. She further said that she respected that as their space. Oh, right, now we're getting respectful, are we? Okay. She went to the house very early on in the relationship. Chris had apparently wrote in his book that when Nichol visited the second time, I think that was on the 14th, If I have a look at my notes, I think it was on the 14th of July, I believe. It's in the other video. To help with his diet plan. So she visited the second time to help him with his diet plan. She was playing with the family dog. The dog then led her upstairs, where she saw pictures of Shanann, Chris and the girls. Apparently, and this is according to him, he had to talk her off of the ledge. What's off of the ledge? Just be seeing some pictures of his family. Now, that to me says it all. She apparently said, "Why do you want to be with me when you have all this, a nice home, a beautiful wife and children?" Yeah, I kind of wonder that as well. You are never going to leave her. Apparently, she stormed out of the house, sat in her truck, and they were messaging each other for half an hour, backwards and forwards messaging, before she eventually came back in and calmed down, where they had a cuddle on the sofa. Ugh. Okay. Also, in one interview with Kevin Kovac, she said had encouraged Chris to work it out with Shanann whilst they were on the family holiday. The family holiday where he didn't want to be around his family, ignored the girls while they were playing on the beach. And on his phone, there's one picture of him being on his phone on this family holiday, probably messaging you. So how does that work that you wanted them to fix the marriage? But then said Chris had called her to say he loved her. She said, "I don't want to hear you say you love me when you are laying in bed with another woman." This woman was his wife. You were the other woman. Let's get this right, yeah? Gosh, this woman. Kessinger also said in interviews that Chris had openly told her he was living in the basement of the home. The basement that you sneaked in. Yeah. And that he and Shanann were getting ready to sell it. I don't... What? Sell it. So this guy already had plans in his mind what were going to happen. And people say it's not premeditation. Yeah, all right. Chris had also told her that his relationship with Shanann was contractual agreement and not emotional. Not emotional when you got her pregnant. Contractual. Right. Also, Nichol told Kevin Kovac that she had never met the children, Bella 4 and CC 3, because she did not think it was appropriate to meet his children. Oh, now you're the upstanding citizen, are you? I'm sorry, guys, but this woman and this guy irritate me to no end. So I come in a police interview, like I said in my previous video. She said that Bella and Cece were so small, so innocent, so tiny, and even demonstrated the height if she'd never met them. Okay. There was a lot of talk between NK and Chris Watts regarding his post-divorce plans. even asking her for help to find an apartment for himself and the girls. Now, this is interesting to me because if the girls were the part of the plan, I'm meaning from Chris Watts' side here, why would he ask her for help on finding an apartment for himself and the girls? To me, there wasn't part of Chris's plan, as he believed the divorce would be final that August. But there was no discussion of a divorce to Shanann. In fact, Chris was denying an affair even happening. So this guy's a first-class liar, if what she's saying is true. She claimed that they hadn't discussed living together at that point. They never talked about marriage, meeting his kids, or cutting the mum out. Again, a strange term to be using here, strange terminology to be using here, cutting the mum out. When you know that what's happened, it was never like that, she said. So, so if this is the case, why was you online searching for over 2 hours looking at wedding dresses if this was never discussed? And it were never made clear from him that he wanted to marry her. Why are you looking at wedding dresses then? It's not adding up. Also, I've got a real issue here. There was a 111-minute phone call that was had with Chris Watts on the night Shanann was due to come home from the business trip. And the night that the unalivings happened. What was the 111-minute phone call about? The call that this woman can't seem to remember. And evades that night altogether in police interviews. She completely evades it, talks about something else, talking about TVs. At one point, I think, that she had the telly on and she thought it was strange, seeing though he was supposed to be in the basement or some daft crap like that. Also about how she's not been sleeping, she feels sick, she feels tired, she can't remember. She can't remember much because we were just talking about a lot of stuff, a lot of everyday random things, apparently, according to her. And that she said she would come back to that 111-minute phone call when she'd had enough sleep and felt better, but never did. Never did elaborate on the phone call. Apparently, she couldn't keep food down either. Now, I went back and I looked at my cards. On one of the police interviews, when she walked in, she was carrying a purse string handbag and it was white. Now, I suspect, my intuition tells me, it's alleged, it's my opinion, that Chris got her pregnant. Okay, we'll leave that one there. That'll be something to look at in a reading. So, apparently Nichol had her suspicions about Chris Watts. She suspected that something was odd about his behaviour. The beginning of the Monday 13th of August, The day his wife disappeared, Nichol apparently did not believe that Chris ever went to look for his family. She also recalled to police that whilst on the phone to Chris the Monday night, this is after, he was sleeping. Who in their right mind sleeps when your family has disappeared? Well, at this time, there were no confession. She thought this was strange due to the situation with his family. She said to Kobach she also found it strange that Chris was laying on a mattress, the marital bed. He'd moved from the basement back up to the marital bed. Laying on a mattress without sheets when she was on a FaceTime call to him. He told her that he had to watch his children's sheets as they smell. What's that got to do with the lucky sheets on your bed? Anyway, apparently according to Enke, she said she had kept asking Chris, "What did you do, Chris? What did you do? Where's your family?" Also, whilst on this FaceTime call, Chris mentioned Shanann's wedding ring and said to Enke, "I wonder how much this rock costs. Is worth." Her reply was, "I don't know, pawn it." This is some woman's ring that's missing, and you know she's missing. In fact, you know exactly what happened. And you say, "I don't know, pawn it." Right. She also texted Chris one last time and told him, "If you did anything bad," now listen to this, guys. I find this revealing. "You're going to ruin my life. I promise you that." And he responded, "I didn't hurt my family, Nichol." What does she mean by this? You are going to ruin my life. You did that yourself. Anyway, sorry guys, I'm getting angry about this. So, to say that there were no plans to live together, why did Nichol Kessinger, give Chris a key to her apartment? And why, on the Monday, 14th of August, was they meant to look at properties together? This is just after the unalivings here. Also, prior to coming forward to the police, why did she look up Amber Fry's net worth and book deal, and is Amber the most hated woman? This, if you don't know guys, this was a mistress of another case, the Scott Peterson case. The only difference is this mistress was innocent. She didn't have a clue. Right, anyway, moving on. NK deleted all Google searches. Right. Why would you do that? You're the mistress of this man who was unalived, his whole family. You could be the one to solve things with your communication or whatnot. There could be clues in that you could give the police to solving it. But you deleted them all. You deleted everything. Anyway, on August 14th, the day after Chris Watts' family went missing, NK spent nearly 4 hours searching the internet for information on Watts and news accounts of Shanann's disappearance. Why are you doing that? That means to me you want to see if what's coming out. Then she deleted the search history. Kobach has said these searches were conducted frequently by NK throughout the next several days. So this is consistently checking up. She deleted every one of these searches afterwards. Now, if this ain't reeking of suspicion, I don't know what is. That same day, NK searched Google for the following topics. Can cops trace text messages? And how long do phone companies keep text messages? As well as difference between text message content and text message detail. If this woman ain't banged to rights by this point, but no. Police just gloss over it. Also, NK disclosed to agent Kevin Kobach that she had texted a friend that she was unsure of her future with Chris because she wants her own family. Now, I remember in this book of Chris Watts, him saying that NK wanted to be the first to give him everything, including his firstborn son. I'll just leave that one there. Whilst this is another potential motive for the murders, damn right, she insisted she never told Chris this, but he says otherwise. She's further said that she didn't say anything about the children damaging their relationship. Come on. Really? She said there was never a conversation with Watts that may have led him to believe that Shanann or his children being the problem. I think you very well did. I think you put pressure on this man as well. I mean, it don't take a rocket scientist to work this out. What's going on here? August 16th, Kevin Kobach noted in an interview with NK that she had admitted to deleting all of the Watts information from her phone. Get this guys, as a form of damage control. To me, she's just basically admitted it here. What do you need damage control for? What were in them text messages? She decided to do this after she found out that Shanann was pregnant, through reading newspaper articles after her disappearance. She was apparently disgusted and grossed out by him. But you weren't disgusted and grossed out by him when you knew he had a family. And possibly, not possibly, you did know she was pregnant because you were doing Google searches a year before meeting Chris on Shanann's Facebook. And in fact, I believe you put a nasty comment in one of the live videos because of the shock on Shanann's face saying, "What do you mean by that? You were stalking her way before, so you mean to tell me you didn't know she was pregnant?" And I don't care if you're watching this, I hope you do. You knew everything else. Anyway, sorry guys. This woman. Police were able to recover the deleted texts and call logs, but not all of it. NK also appeared to want all traces of Chris Watts out of her home. She gave investigators articles of clothing as well as a birthday card he gave her. Semi-nude photos of NK were transferred into a secret calculator application on Chris Watts' phone in July. Certain images were taken by Chris as evidenced by his reflection in the mirror in the background. That picture of her in that crappy brown bikini, ugh, gosh, right. She also, I think she felt she was hot stuff as well, where she was posing, my gosh. She also Googled topics on marrying your mistress. On the 8th of August, so this is before the unalivings, according to police, marrying your mistress. And then we're looking up wedding dresses, but there were no discussion of being married or getting married. Excuse me, let me have a drink. This DA as well. I can't stand them. The guy. DA Rourke, the prosecutor of the case, spoke out about how for the most part, NK has been helpful with the investigation. But with the deletion of phone records, this has hampered the investigation. What investigation? Because you didn't investigate her. So that suggests to me that the police know that she's involved. But because they got the man, they got the confession, it didn't have to go to trial, they could not be bothered investigating her properly. And her connections with her dad, Nichol Kessinger, who was also in the police interview, that put a stop to things getting out of hand. Or the previous criminal record you had that suddenly just disappeared. Oh, and the safe house. What's that? Why do you need a safe house? Anyway, moving on. All in all, NK had a total of 5 interviews with Kevin Kobach. One of the interviews she had a dad in, like I just said, Nichol Kessinger, and like I said, he seemed to step in when the questioning was getting tough. NK, throughout this video, throughout the interview, was looking at the camera, covering her face with her hands, sobbing and wailing. I've never seen aught like it. About the poor girls and pregnant Shanann. I'm trying to mimic her, what she would try to say. Then stopped. All of a sudden, no tears, no wailing, no sobbing. And again looked at the camera. So she knew she were being watched and she were playing up to the cameras. Also an interesting fact here is when Kevin Kobach asked her to name the girls and Shanann, when it come to saying Shanann, her hands, I'm not joking, you should watch the interview. She says, Shanann. That is creepy. I'll tell you, watch the interviews, you'll see what I mean. Also on the night of the murders, next door neighbours Nate's camera footage shows somebody exiting the garage. I say somebody because this person was wearing white tennis shoes. Looked a similar height to Chris Watts, but had a womanly figure. Then you see Chris Watts leaving the house wearing dark clothing and black work boots. So that suggests to me 2 people. Anyway, he goes to his truck, which is parked on the road, which is not usual case according to Nate. He normally has it in the driveway because there was some burglary happening around this time as well, breaking-ins. Back he goes to his work truck, which is on the roadside, backs it into the driveway, leading into the back of the garage. Now, unfortunately, the way that Nate's camera was and the truck, you couldn't see much. You couldn't see at the back of the truck. You could only see the sides and a little bit of the front of the truck. So he's seen loading the back of the truck up with 2 red Jerry petrol cans. Now, before I go any further, yesterday's video that I did, I had a burning of evidence card, and I thought at the time it was a spell book. It could still be the spell book she's burnt, but was our designing the video for NKs when it comes out, the sort of design gave me a flashback to this card here. Now this will make sense as I go along. Also this one with the smoke. Disaster, evil, chaos. This will make sense. Keep these cards in mind. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, 2 Jerry petrol tanks, the red. He loads up tons. This takes him quite a bit of time. Then, under the truck, after he's done all this, you can see tiny shadows of fate. You can see him at one point bending down to lift one of the children up to put them in the back seat of the truck. Like I said, there appears to be 2 people exiting the garage. The first one appears to be NK's height and build, and I think if I remember watching this, I did see an outline of a bag, an handbag, a cross, which is funnily enough seen in an interview, the bag. Watch the footage. Yeah, I'm wearing white tennis shoes. Then you see Chris Watts wearing dark clothing and black work boots. Who is the person wearing the white tennis shoes? Also, in one of the police interviews, NK is clearly seen, get this guys, wearing white tennis shoes. So, you see him get into the truck, drive down the driveway onto the road, get back out of the truck, walk back up to the driveway to the entrance of the front door to the house. Then he walks back down the driveway to get into his truck and he drives away. Again, you can clearly see him wearing dark clothing and black work boots because at this time it's starting to get light. Now, when I said about the burning evidence, with the fire. There is a theory with the petrol jerry cans being loaded up into the back of his work truck and a lighter being found in the passenger door of his truck that he was planning to blow up Survey 319. It was reported to him the Friday before the unaliving that there was a leak at Survey 319 and nobody could get to it over the weekend. So Chris had volunteered to drive out there first thing Monday morning to look at it. That's why he was at that work site. But this is where it gets slightly interesting for me. Also within the same year, Anadarko had been sued for being responsible for an explosion that had unalived people. There were a big payout. Anadarko were, shall we say, about to go under at this point. Now I'm wondering, did this give Chris the idea to set fire to the site? Make it look like an accident? That Shanann and the girls had drove to the site to see Chris at his work site and they got caught up in the explosion. Chris could then cash in on the insurance money. With the burning evidence, I'm starting to believe that this may be the case. But it didn't go to plan because Nicole Atkinson got involved and phoned the police. So, to me, they didn't have time to carry out this plan. I'm simply saying this as well because there were a lot of evidence left behind at this site as well. Careless to me, very careless. There were a broken shovel, a glove. Some other things had been left there. Now it makes me wonder, they'd have got away with this. It just looked like an accident. Also, why did NK's phone ping off of a cell phone tower at 6 a.m. in Frederick, where the Watts house is? Shouldn't you have been at work at that time? Because I remember people saying that at the Anadarko office, people were in for 6:30 in the morning. What was she doing there? Also, where was she from Sunday to Monday? Also, why did she clock in an hour before finishing work? She'd not clocked in all day. Where was she? Why, also, does she want a photographic proof from Chris Watts that he was at the Survey 319 site? Specifically, a picture of the leak there. This has all been recovered from his laptop, by the way. He took the picture of the oil tanks and the leak. This is the morning of him covering his tracks, or trying to. Was she there at the house to clean up? I think so. It's awfully suspicious time in the morning, considering what he were doing with the truck. Also, I think she knew a way into the house. I think them 2 visits that are on record wasn't the proper visits. I think she snuck in to the basement to see him. and snuck out of the window, because there's a lighter on the windowsill as well. There's also a sleep mask on the bed. When the K9 units came and investigated, there were all sorts of things in that basement. Yeah, so my theory is she were at the house to clean up while he were doing the business and going to work, because there was a blue latex glove found under the marital bed. Also, Shanann's office looked like it had been ransacked. Papers everywhere. Now, considering how tidy and organised Shanann was, why would that office be a mess like that? Unless somebody would try to look for something, look for documents, look for a passcode, because Shanann had changed her passcode before she came home. 2, I think it was, I might have got this wrong, Nico's birth, what would be his due date. Yeah. Why did Chris Watts, after the murders, search up the lyrics to the Metallica Battery song? Also, Chris Watts, on this same morning, contacted a realtor person and said that him and Shanann wanted to sell the house. This woman had said, well, I need to speak to Shanann to get her say on this as well. He also phoned the children's school and said they wouldn't be coming back. Now, Enke has never been heard from since. Apparently she's in witness protection and hiding out. And this woman screams darkness, evilness, manipulation. Couldn't give two hoops whose lives she's wrecking, and I've got a feeling about she'll do it again. She'll do it to another family. I feel like she had umpteen men on the go, Jim being one of them. The leave Jim alone, and we're into all sorts of crazy things. But this will all come out in the next reading I do. I just wanted to do the timeline today, so when it comes to NK's video, people will know what I'm talking about in relation to the reading. So, I always like to end on a positive note. I'm going to pull a card from Spirit for everyone, and then we'll call it a day. Oh, just a minute. Okay. It says, dear you, there is only one you, and you have a unique place in the universe. Sometimes situations come up that challenge you to be authentic, and that means you have to be fully yourself and let go of being what you think others may want. Now is not the time to conform to other people's standards or expectations. Be proud of who you are and be courageous. Stand tall in your convictions. Being yourself is a powerful statement and will only lead you to success and ultimately happiness. Don't compare yourself to other people. Want what you have, choose what your heart wants, and know that your purpose is always alone. No one else can claim your magic, nor take it away. When you place authenticity and originality high on your list of priorities and give them a prominent place in your awareness, extraordinary things happen. Your life is a beautiful one. Love you always and forever. Ah, that's lovely. So guys, another little gentle reminder, if you could subscribe if you haven't already done so, press the like button, press the bell for the next uploaded video, and please comment. I'd love to know your thoughts, what you think. And as always, thank you for your support. Until then, I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.